Hi everyone, welcome to the Jenny Lyon Digital Marketing and Virtual Assistant Services YouTube channel. I'm really excited to have you here today. My name's Jenny Lyon, of course, and today I wanted to pop in to talk about something that I'm so passionate about, content marketing. So this week I want to share my favorite 8 ways to repurpose one piece of content. So let's dig right in. So when it comes to food, my family, we're really big believers in having as little waste as possible. My husband, Jason, he loves to cook, and I love to let him cook. I do not cook. And we love to pull inspiration from the Native American idea that every part of the animal should be used, right? So, for example, when he's making mashed potatoes, he saves the skins to make these super yummy, crispy potato skin chips in the oven. And I'll even leave the recipe below because it is so good. And when we eat chicken, like for the holidays, he'll, save the bones and any little pieces of meat, and he boils it down to make a super tasty chicken noodle soup. And it's like my favorite thing of the year. And, it doesn't just make economic sense, but it's great for the environment too. So win-win, right? So following this example, I really try to bring that philosophy into how I create content for myself and for my clients. I don't want anything to go to waste. So let me explain. So let's say you're going to commit to writing a weekly blog every week, a weekly blog. That's a lot, and a lot goes into it. There's the research and the first draft and the editing, approval, rewrites. And once you're done, you have this fantastic piece of content for your website, which is great. But then what? What else can you do with it? Well, you don't have to just post the blog onto your website and just let it sit and hope people find it. But you can take it and, make that work really worthwhile. So what I like to do is I like to use all the component pieces of the blog in creative ways to really give you the best bang for your time, or if you're working with our team, your marketing budget. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So it doesn't have to only apply to new content either. So when I start to work with a client, I really like to, dig into everything they already have. So I'll sometimes ask, what do you have that we can already work with? I think repurposing what you already have, especially when it comes to existing content, should really be a key part of your content marketing strategy. That's why evergreen content is always a great idea. And last week in the video, I talked a lot about the importance of creating an editorial calendar for your content. So you can always jump back to the previous video. It's also on the podcast. And if you want to listen in, it's at jennylyon.com/8, the number 8. I even included a really cool template that you can grab. It's a 3-month content calendar. Basically, it's a template and it rolls in the quarters, so you can use it all year long. And it can really take a lot of work to keep up with creating weekly content. So why not use what you already have? I mentioned the idea of yearly updates to your most popular posts last week, but this week we're going to take it a step further. And it doesn't matter what type of weekly content you create. It can be a blog, a video, or a podcast. Whichever type of content you choose, you can reuse it in different ways. So here's some ideas about the different ways that you can repurpose one single piece of content. So number 1, if you're, for example, creating a podcast, you want to make sure that that content's going to be available everywhere. So for that podcast, it really would go without saying to put it on iTunes or Shopify, but you also want to really spread it out. There's a lot of other podcast publishers out there, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. So make sure that you're getting your content out everywhere that you possibly can. Number 2 is to transcribe it. So for myself, when I create the weekly podcast, I transcribe it as well, and then I tweak it into a blog post. And, it's been fantastic for SEO. And I know transcribing can be a little bit of a slow process. So, you might want to, hire a virtual assistant to help you. But once you have it written up, you can share it on your website, and it's very helpful for people who, maybe they listen to the episode on the podcast or they checked out the video, but they're really looking for a specific piece of information. And of course, don't forget the SEO juice. So that's super important. Number 3 is audio. So one trick that I've been using a lot more lately for clients is pulling audio clips out of their podcast and then using a program called Wave. It's WAVVE, and I'll leave the link below, but you can grab little snippets of audio and you can share them elsewhere. So I like to share them on social media. Really great place is Instagram stories. You can grab a little graphic, overlay it on, a slide and, pop it in with some audio, and you can tell your audience a short story about your content using your content. So it can also be a really useful strategy if you do regular videos, so more on that, as we go into the video section. Number 4 is to turn it into a blog. So blog posts are the bread and butter of the digital marketing world. Not only are they one of the best ways to drive traffic to your website, but they also help position you as an expert in your field. And remember, SEO juice, they're really great for SEO on your website. And the more blog posts you have, the better you look, especially to Google. And so if you have content that you haven't turned into a blog post, then you should definitely think about that. And once you have all those blog posts lying around, then what do you do with them? That moves us to step 5, which is article submissions. So first I would take a look at getting them published on other outlets. So a lot of times we will publish to Medium or Thrive, or we'll post it within LinkedIn's publishing site. And it really helps get your name out there and connect your brand to theirs. And it gives you more credibility in the eyes of their audience. And I'm a really big believer in using blog posts as the basis for podcasting episodes. After all, I'm already doing all of this research, and all I have to really do is rework it a little bit to make it a script, so I can use it in multiple ways. So for me, it works out really well. I can take one script and turn it into a blog, a video, and a podcast in an afternoon. So it's really pretty cool. And finally, you can create companion videos to go along, with how-to blog posts. For example, if you have a blog explaining how to set up Asana, the project management system, you could pair it with a video where your audience can watch you doing it from the very beginning to the end. I like to use a tool called Loom, and I'll link to it below for you. I use it for everything. I probably use it 100 times a day, and it works fantastic for this. And you can record straight from your computer screen, which leads us into number 6, which is everyone loves video. So much of what I've said about podcasting can also apply to videos. So you can create a transcript of a video that can be useful for your audience members who don't want to have to go through the entire thing to find a single piece of information. So after all, text is much easier to scan than a video. So you can use small sections of your videos and use them on platforms like Instagram stories. So I use a program called Lumen 5, and I've been using it for years, but it's really great at breaking up your content into tiny little video chunks. So you can, put words on top of imagery, and it has music, and you can pop those right in to Instagram stories. And it's just another way to turn your larger content into smaller piece content that you can share with your audience. Next is a newsletter. So I know I feel like a broken record at this point, but it probably needs to be repeated. Your most valuable marketing commodity is your email list. Once you have someone's email, that's it. It's game on. And, we've talked before about how you don't own your social media following, but you do own your email list. So, you always want to be growing that email list. The trick here is that you obviously can't just spam people with marketing. That's a really quick way to get them to unsubscribe. So a regular newsletter can be a fabulous way to get your content into the hands of your customers. They're a great way to strengthen and grow your relationship with your existing community. And believe it or not, you could reuse almost every component of that newsletter in another way. So for example, a lot of newsletters have dedicated graphic spaces. You know, I have a lot of clients that have dedicated quotes or, you know, some sort of graphic that we switch out each week in the newsletter. Well, you can use that again. You know, that would be a great graphic to share on social media. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use it, but most importantly, you should be getting your content out to your audience in a newsletter so they know it exists. And then last but not least, and probably one of my favorite, is to turn that one piece of content into a lead magnet. So, you know, if you want to get your content out to everyone and you really need to be growing that email list, the best way to do that is by offering free and valuable content as a lead magnet, not only on your website, but inside your existing content. You know, lead magnets can be a lot of work. They really can. I mean, depending on how in-depth the topic, you know, you could be talking about a lot of work. I mean, it depends. You know, you can do something as simple as a checklist or really more involved, you know, like a workbook or an ebook. But with the right framing, you can easily repurpose your blog content and make it into a free lead magnet. I mean, really, a lot of it's just changing the formatting of it. So for example, say you've written a blog and you want to, you know, move that blog into a lead magnet. So say the blog's about working at home. Well, you can take that content and transform it into, say, a working at home checklist. Or if you want to tackle a larger topic, you know, within that original topic for your lead magnet, you could take several blogs on that topic and pull them all together to create something larger, like a workbook. So, you know, personally, I love any lead magnet that gives my audience a quick win. I'm going to link to my 3-month content calendar template so you can see what I'm talking about. And if you think all of this sounds like a lot of work, well, it is, you're right, but you don't have to do everything. You can pick 1 or 2 of the suggestions and just explore them. Give them a try and see how it boosts your content in other areas. And then, of course, if you really want to take a shot at maximizing all of your content marketing, then definitely look into hiring a virtual assistant team like ours, digital marketing team, to help you with that. So just to go over kind of what we learned today, let's really sum up, you know, how you can reuse that one piece of content 8 different ways. So the first way is to really get it out everywhere. Don't just post it on your website and forget it. You know, if it's a podcast, make sure you have it going out to all of the podcast sites. And then the next step is to transcribe it. So if it's a podcast or video, make sure you get a transcription of it. You at least want the transcription on your website for the SEO juice. If you want to take it a step further and tweak it into a blog, well, good for you. Number 3 is to clip the audios. So make sure that you go through your content and clip those nuggets, those pieces that are really going to be powerful on social media, and pick those out. Number 4 is article submissions. So again, if you have a blog, make sure you're submitting it everywhere that you possibly can. You know, check out Medium. I definitely submit everything to Medium and to LinkedIn. So make sure that you're getting it out there into a wider audience. Number 5 is to record a video. So it's super easy to record a video. I tell a lot of my clients, you know, if you're going to record the audio, go ahead and do the video as well. That way you have more content to share. Or if you don't want to record the whole thing, you can always jump in and record, you know, just a mini video, a mini summary of whatever your weekly content is. It gives you just another little nugget that you can share. Number 6, send a newsletter. If you aren't building your email list, add it to the top of your list. It's very important, I'm telling you. You want to make sure that your audience knows that you're creating all this great content, and a weekly newsletter can be a great way to share that with them. And last but not least is make sure you're turning your great content into lead magnets. So you have all of this great content already. Why not turn it into a great lead magnet that will grow your email list? So I hope that you find these tips helpful. If you have any questions or you need help with your content marketing, please let me know. If you're interested in checking out my 3-month content calendar, you can grab it at jennylyon.com/content calendar. And you can always jump over to our Digital Marketing Made Simple community on Facebook and leave your thoughts. I'd love to hear what What were your 2 favorite ways from this video to recycle your content? I'd love to hear. I hope you jump over there. I'll leave the link below. Hope you're having a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.